As investigators continue to dig into the largest mass shooting in U.S. history, President Obama makes another push for more gun control.
Reinstate the assault weapons ban. Make it harder for terrorists to use these weapons to kill us.
And for the first time, a room full of doctors and patients, both telling dramatic stories of survival.
Looking at the souls leaving the bodies of individuals. Looking at the killer's machine gun throughout my right peripheral. Looking at the blood and debris covered on everyone's faces. Looking at the gunman's feet under the stall as he paces. The guilt of feeling lucky to be alive is heavy.
And we're seeing pictures of more of the 49 murder victims as their grieving families begin making funeral arrangements. We're now hearing from some of the 53 people who were wounded. Those survivors are giving harrowing details about how a night of fun turned into a morning of terror.
27 of the wounded are still in the hospital. 6 remain in critical condition. Channel 4's Vic Micolucci has the story of a man who was shot 5 times and lived. Jim Piggott is digging into the renewed push here in Jacksonville to broaden the human rights ordinance to specifically protect the LGBT community from discrimination. We begin our coverage with Tarek live in Orlando with more on Mateen's wife, now under scrutiny. Tarek.
That's right, Tom. The big question tonight, could this massacre have been prevented, and how much did Omar Mateen's wife know about his plan to shoot and kill members of the LGBT community at the Pulse nightclub, which is just a few blocks away from where I'm standing? She is now under scrutiny of federal investigators, and we want to show you some video taken of his wife, Noor Salman, as she arrived last night at Mateen's home in Fort Pierce. Now, she did not speak with reporters, and she walked directly inside the house. Now, multiple reports find that the shooter's wife tried to talk Mateen out of the attack. A source told NBC News that Salman told the FBI she once drove Mateen to the Pulse nightclub before the shooting rampage. The same report finds that she was with Mateen when he purchased ammunition before the attack. Today, we're also learning a lot more about the patients. 27 of the 44 taken to the hospital are still in the hospital. 6 patients are still in intensive care, and 2 patients may be disabled for the rest of their lives. 11 others have been treated and released. Now, not far from where I am, the Dr. Phillips Center has really been a place of refuge for all those who have been affected by this shooting. People have been leaving behind flowers and wreaths, and it is now the official memorial for all 49 victims. Now, earlier today at a hospital, we heard from a man who was inside the club. He actually faked like he was dead, and that is the only way he was able to survive. Just one of many stories that we're hearing. Channel 4's Vic Micolucci joins us now live with more. Vic?
And Tarek, he has been through so much. Talking to us just 2 days after this horrific ordeal, he has shown an amazing amount of strength, and he says that he is so thankful to be alive, and he owes his life to the men and women here at this hospital.
I was shot about 3 times in my leg.
26-year-old Angel Cologne bravely describes the terror inside Pulse nightclub.
I tried to get back up. Everyone started running everywhere. I got trampled over.
The pain unimaginable, the fear unreal. Cologne says so many people were dead or dying around him as gunman Omar Mateen seemed to smile and laugh.
He's shooting everyone that's already dead on the floor, making sure they're dead.
Mateen killed the woman next to Cologne. Then,
by the glory of God, he shoots towards my head, but it hits my hand. And then he shoots me again, and it hits the side of my hip.
Cologne, just one of more than 100 who were shot. Only about half survived. Police pulled him out and rushed him a few blocks away to the hospital.
We're resuscitating horrific gunshot wounds to the torsos on patients.
At Orlando Regional, a team of doctors and nurses scrambled to save the victims. Surgeons rushed in from all over to help. Did you ever expect in your career you'd see something this bad?
I never expected to be a part of something as horrific as this. No.
44 patients came in, many of them clinging to life. The trauma team couldn't save everyone.
A sense of sadness, that's how I feel, and I've seen a lot of trauma.
But they're proud of how many they kept alive. People like Angel Cologne, who have a long ways to go, but will live to see another day.
This hospital is amazing. If it wasn't for you guys, I definitely would not be here.
Certainly a very thankful man tonight. This is a level 1 trauma center, and it's the busiest in the state. And take a look down in the distance. You can still see some of the police lights and the news satellite trucks. That is the scene of Pulse nightclub. And doctors tell me that if the club had not been this close to their hospital, they fear many more people would have died because it would have taken those precious moments away from them, and they feel the fatalities would have been much higher. Live in downtown Orlando, I'm Vic Michelucci, Channel 4, the local station. Tarek.
Vic, thanks so much. You know, very passionate Governor Rick Scott stood right where I'm standing right now earlier this morning. He had the opportunity to speak to some of the victims' families. He was very emotional. He says at times he even started to tear up and break down. He spoke with Channel 4's Bruce Hamilton this morning, and you could tell that the governor was extremely frustrated. Let's listen in.
Yeah, I mean, go talk to a mom. Go talk to, a family that lost their loved one. Go listen to their, I mean, can you imagine your child? I have daughters the same age as many of these individuals that were killed, and they targeted people. I mean, nobody would want this ever to happen to their family. I don't ever have to go through this again. So our federal government needs to stop doing, they got to show up. Destroy ISIS. Say, this is radical Islam. Say, ISIS inspired this. We got to stop this.
It's important to note that the FBI has yet to release an official motive for the shooting. Now, we brought you news yesterday that the nightclub shooter Omar Mateen had been at the Pulse nightclub before. We also learned that he had been on a gay dating app. That's what we have been hearing. Now we're hearing from a regular at the club who claims that he met Mateen through that gay dating app. Here is what he had to say.
When he was first contacting me, he was saying, asking what club, in his words, what clubs are popping and things of that sort and what good places are to go. But I remember telling him, oh, you can just look it up online because I don't go out too much. And I remember him asking me for pictures. He wasn't saying nothing racial or anything like that, which, that happens at times, but not with him. That didn't happen. But it was over 3 months ago. It's the last time I spoke to him.
Club regulars say they had seen Mateen at the club several times before the shooting. Now, the massacre here in Orlando has prompted a new cry for the LGBT community in Jacksonville to be added under the protection of the Human Rights Ordinance. Channel 4's Jim Pickett now joins us live from Jacksonville with more on that angle of the story. Jim?
Tarek, they've been tiptoeing around the HRO issue since pulling that from consideration last year, trying not to stir up the debate. But the shooting deaths in Orlando is bringing it out front again. There's been an outpouring of support in Jacksonville for the victims in the Orlando shooting. That was evident with the crowds at Memorial Park on Sunday. But there's not been much else coming from City Hall. The mayor issued a statement this afternoon which says this attack was deliberate and done by a coward. Statements are all we've seen from City Hall so far. We did see signs of sympathy immediately after the Paris terror attacks last November. The French flag was flown in the lobby, but nothing is there today, though the flags on top of City Hall are at half-staff. That's a concern for Michael Clark. He emailed the city council and mayor saying he believes most city leaders are ignoring the tragedy and the LGBT community. He's straight, but says this is wrong for Jacksonville.
We've got no public expressions of support, which is kind of surprising because there are expressions going all over the entire world. I mean, China of all places.
Clark points to the fact that the city has not included LGBT protection in the Human Rights Ordinance, and that's a huge concern for Councilman Tommy Hazouri.
It's past due. This only reinforces and makes me have more resolve for the need to do it now more than ever.
But the mayor said in a statement today, I vehemently oppose violence and discrimination of any kind. I am as equally opposed to the historic tragedy such as this being used as a backdrop and platform to advance the goals and interest of any political agenda. And that's something local activists don't agree with.
I understand that we don't want to politicize a tragedy, and I don't believe that that's what we're doing by simply talking about basic human rights in Jacksonville. So no, I don't think it's shameful to be talking about this right now.
And Councilman Azuri tells me that he will reintroduce that bill in October or November. I want to show you something else that is also now flying at City Hall in Azuri's office. You can see here, that is the gay pride flag. He says he put that in his window to support the victims of that tragedy. We'd also learned that Mayor Curry's church, Southside United Methodist, tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., they will be holding a vigil for all of the victims. Tarek?
All right, thanks so much, Jim. Back here live at the scene, just a few blocks away from Pulse nightclub, we just got some new information. We have just learned that the FBI agents and other authorities will be processing this crime scene for the next 11 days. 11 days, which gives you just an idea of just how much work they have to do. We'll have more live from Orlando coming up at 6:30. Tom, Mary.
Thank you, Tarek. Well, some of the people who've been working so hard caring for victims are also dealing with the heartache of losing one of their own.
One Blood says 33-year-old Rodolfo Ayala was a platelet supervisor in the agency's Orlando laboratory. He was among the 49 people killed. Those who knew him describe him as an incredibly hardworking person with a spunky personality who always lit up the room with his smile.
It's been very hard, but we know that he would definitely be one of the people here working long hours to get these products out the door to the patients in the hospital. So we've all pulled together and we've all put in the effort that we know he would have put in as well to get these products to these survivors in the hospital as well, because that's also very important. Even though we've lost him, we still have the opportunity to save others.
Both One Blood in Orlando and here in Jacksonville are asking people to make appointments to donate blood, which is still needed to treat the wounded.
The UNF LGBT Resource Center will host a candlelight vigil tonight, this evening, for the victims of the shooting. It takes place from 7:30 to 8:30 at Peace Plaza, and it is open to the public.